I haven't booked yet, but I'm back Monday, and then.
Good afternoon, everybody. Glad to have you on today's Hangout, our open Q&A call. As you can tell, I'm not in my normal office. I'm at a remote, secret location today, and happy to join you and have our open Q&A call. So go ahead and use the chat bar or the sidebar and chat on the side, and dump your questions in there, and I'll address them as we go forward. Just want to let you know too as well, for all you W Sales Club members who are on this call, we are going to be launching a new course. We're releasing it next week. We'll be selling it on a webinar. As club members, you guys have immediate access to it, so you won't have to pay anything additional for this course. It's going to be a $2,000 course. We'll sell it with a special offer for probably around $1,500 next week for the first 15 people or so that sign that. But you guys will get access to it for free. And, this course is it's called the Double Your Sales Breakthrough Course, and the purpose is to walk you through the foundational steps of getting your positioning, your messaging, your offer all structured correctly. And so we're actually going to have, for people who purchase it, we're going to have a triple ROI guarantee. And so if someone pays $2,000 for it, we're guaranteeing they're going to make at least $6,000 or they get their money back. You guys are already members, so you don't necessarily have that guarantee, but that's the kind of course we're going to be running, is that we're going to take you through this process, and it's a group coaching model, and we'll be going through this together as a group, and at the end we're going to run an offer, and that offer is going to help you make some money, and so we got a guarantee tied to new people being able to get a return on that investment and actually make it worthwhile. So go ahead and dump your questions in the chat box. I'm going to say goodbye to my team here, and we'll get on those questions right away. Looks like we've got a handful of you in here today for the open Q&A, but no questions yet. And I know so I'll just give it a minute here. Okay, question from John about the videos from our event. They are inside the membership site, so let me show you how to access those. I'll turn on the screen share here. And I'll go to Baccarat Marketing. Now I'm logged in as admin, and sometimes the permissions on the admin are a little bit weird, but when you first log in, it will generally take you to the welcome page. If it doesn't, for whatever reason, go ahead and go to the home menu drop down and click on welcome. In the admin, doesn't show me my memberships, but under events, you can go click on watch now for each of these events. And you'll be able to see all the videos there. So it's listed here, day 1, CRM and admin. There's all the videos in order. And day 2, marketing. And we still haven't yet listed under each one what's covered in each video, so I apologize for that. But we're getting to that. We'll have it listed, kind of a little agenda under each video, so you know what's covered in that particular video if you want to skip to something. And we'll be able to get you, oriented quickly that way. So John, you should have a login for the membership site, and you should be able to log in there and access those videos just fine. If there's any trouble with that, please let me know. All right, Barbara's got a really good question. She says, I'm still struggling with when to use note templates versus tasks. So I have a general rule about that, and like I say, it's a general rule. It doesn't apply all the time, but that general rule is note templates you set up for things that are not going to happen according to a schedule. Generally, those are things like incoming requests. Okay, so someone just calls up and says, "Hey, like John, he just said, hey, where are those videos?" If he wasn't able to access them, say he logs in and he can't see the videos, then he's probably missing a tag that iMember 360 is looking for those videos. So I could set up a note template that applies that tag, and then it would go ahead and check now. You should be fine. We just applied the tag. So that note template would be perfect for a quick response like that, where someone has an incoming request. Hey, I noticed you have a webinar coming up. Can you send me information about it? Sure. Boom, note template triggers the information to go out to that person. Anything where it's an incoming request or it doesn't happen according to a set schedule, those are good times for note templates. And now for tasks, that stuff is normally going to happen on a particular schedule, right? So let's say you have a sales call with someone, and whenever you get off the phone on a particular sales call, you always have a task to send a contract or something like that. So you would have that, maybe it's a stage move. When you move them to the send contract stage, it creates a task and automatically assigns that task to you. Now you have that on your dashboard, and you know that you've got to fulfill on that thing. Or someone buys something, in relationship to them buying, you need to fulfill on something. They need a welcome call, so you assign a task. So those are things that are scheduled that need to happen the same way every time in relationship to a trigger event. So if there's a trigger event and then something happens every time, then and those are typically more kind of outbound examples or outbound activities versus inbound. And so we want to make a call at a certain point in time. We want to send this thing at a certain time. Those are the types of things, those outbound activities, that I would generally use tasks for. And then when there's inbound requests that you can't really control, I would generally use note templates for those. Now, those are not hard and fast rules, but that's how I generally use those two features, and tends to work out well there. All right, John, looks like you were able to access the videos, I think. You said awesome, thanks, anyway, so hopefully that's working out for you. Barbara, let me ask you, after I explained it that way, does that help you? Does that make it more clear, or are you more confused than ever? I want to make sure that that's actually coming across loud and clear for you. If you're still confused, let me know, and we'll definitely try and clarify that for you. Waiting for those responses to come through that I did this week. It's not necessarily a revolutionary idea. I've done things like this before, and I'm sure other people have as well. But this is an example of reporting. So I have a client who is an e-commerce company generally, and they want to know, well, how many people have purchased this week, how many people purchased last week, how many people purchased the week before. As you know, it's not super easy to get that data out of Infusionsoft. You can go and search orders or payments, and what if someone ordered more than once? So they will show up more than once in there if you search that way. You can tag people when they purchase, but then you'd have to have some kind of looping thing, to add and remove tags, and that can get a little weird sometimes. So let me walk you through the process that that I set up for this very basic reporting function, just to know how many sales we've had in the last week, or in the current week, the last week, and the week before. And then we did the same thing with the months: current month, the last month, and the previous month. So let me do a screen share here, log into this Infusionsoft account. Oh, sorry about that. we go. So we'll hop over into this campaign here. All right, so on customer purchase. Okay, so they have a whole bunch of products, and you'll see when this opens up, there's a whole bunch of products that all funnel, when they're purchased, they all funnel into one particular area. So we're funneling them in by individual product and then by categories and everything. So when they get down to this level, though, this is all purchasers. Okay, so everybody funnels into this process here, and what happens here? Let me just hit edit, get back over there. So all purchasers. One of the things that happens here is we apply a tag for a purchase in the current month and a purchase in the current week. Okay, so people who have that tag, obviously, or we're measuring them for the current week and the current month. Okay, different tags for each one. Now those tags trigger goals back here on the campaign. So let's just look at the week one. When they get the tag for a purchase in the current week, they get this goal achieved and they end up in here. The first thing it does is it just has a timer. Then it's going to wait till Sunday at 3 a.m., which is basically, this company's on the West Coast, so it's Saturday night at midnight, so basically the end of the week. So it's going to wait till the end of the week, and then at that point it's going to that current week tag, okay, and it's going to apply the last week tag. So now as time rolls into the next week, this person rolls into the previous week. Okay, and then that tag, applying that tag, of course, achieves, well, it achieves there, so if they buy again in the future, we're good. But it also achieves this goal, which now puts them into the last week sequence, which is going to do the same thing. It's going to wait and then run again on Sunday at 2:45. Now, I staggered those slightly just in case they happen to run at the same time and it ran the wrong one first. So I did that on purpose. But here at the end of the week again, we're going to remove the purchase last week tag, and we're going to apply the purchase the 2 weeks ago tag. That, of course, achieves the goal at the end of this sequence. We'll wait for this to go back. Right here, pulls them out of that sequence and achieves this one at the same time because it's the same tag, and then puts them in this one, which again waits until the end of the week and removes that tag, and it applies a final tag, which just pulls them out of this series. So at any point in time, I can see the current week's metrics, the last week, and 2 weeks ago. And each week, at the beginning of the week, or I should say at the end of the week, however you want to look at it, it rolls those people back a week in the tagging system. And so I can just set up on my dashboard a save search for each of those tags, and I can see week to date, last week and 2 weeks ago. I just realized too, I probably did not do the screen share, did I? Oh, I did. Good thing. All right. So that's the way that works. And then down here, same process for the month. Okay, so it waits till the end of the month, and then it rolls them over to the last month, and then it waits till the end of the month again, and rolls them over to 2 months ago, waits till the end of the month, and then pulls them out of that series. So I can have real-time data that I don't have to update. So as you guys know, some of the saved searches in Infusionsoft, they require you to actually put in fixed dates. You can't put date intervals in. You can on some of the dates, but you can't on all of the dates. So doing something like this just makes that very, very simple, where you can just put these saved searches on your dashboard. You know exactly month-to-date number of customers. This isn't number of purchases, this is number of customers, right? So month-to-date number of customers, previous month number of customers, and 2 months ago number of customers. And the idea is here that you would pull these numbers and put them into a spreadsheet probably, or else you'd have to keep building this out, 3 months ago, 4 months ago. Buffer of a couple weeks to pull those numbers on the week side, and a couple of months on the month side to pull those numbers, put them into a spreadsheet, and just track it going forward there. So just thought that's just kind of an interesting way of creating some reports. Again, we talked about how Infusionsoft doesn't always have the best reports, but it has all the data. So if you can think creatively about how to get these reports, then you can actually get pretty much all the data you want to see. Okay? So hopefully that was helpful. Let me jump back and see if Barbara's had a chance to respond here to my last question. Just thanks. I could also use a note template that also sets up a task for me to follow up on. Absolutely. Yeah. So say someone has, like I said, an inbound request. You respond with a note template, and in those situations, you want to follow up with them, a week or two later, and make sure that they got what you were sending, or they didn't have any questions or whatever. You could absolutely have that trigger a task on the schedule, and then that task will help you follow up. And then she says, it is clear there are just so many ways to do something in Infusion. I just wish I knew the best way to set up my process. You're right, Barbara. There are lots of ways to do things. I wonder sometimes, what if Infusionsoft forced us to do things certain ways? Would it make things a lot clearer? Would it make it easier for people? I think it would make it easier for people as they first get into Infusionsoft. But as a longtime user myself, and as a power user, I guess, if that's what you want to call people who've been using it a long time, that would bother me. But I can definitely see how for new users it would help. I've talked with product management in the past about, can't you just make it so that when people first start, certain features or certain additional functionalities are maybe kind of locked down, and they have to either go turn them on, or they after a certain amount of time those things are revealed to them, or something like that. I think that might be helpful for new users to get up to speed more quickly. Yeah, who knows? It's just a thought. All right, let's see if there are any other questions. Do you guys have any questions about the reporting process that I just showed you that helps with reporting? That's one example with purchases, but you might do something similar. If you're trying to track, how many opt-ins do I have this week, last week, the week before, this month, last month, the month before. You could use that for opt-ins. You could use that for opportunity records created. You could use it for all kinds of things that you're trying to measure on a weekly or monthly basis. So let me know in the chat there if you have any questions about that, or anything else for that matter. Pretty mellow crowd today. Not too many questions. I think everybody might be out surfing. Yesterday was the biggest surf in Southern California in a long time. It's pretty rare in the summer for surf to get quite that big. Let me pull up here a live cam of one of the better places around. See what today it says 6 to 8 feet head high to 3 feet overhead or so. Occasional 10-foot waves. I'll do a little screen share here for you, because I know you guys want to check the surf. So here's what's going on out at Trestles in San Clemente. So if you're not familiar with watching surf cams, you can see all those little black dots. Those are people out there. They're out in the lineup. They're right where we should all be, but instead we're working. Yeah, you can see a wave coming there, and someone ought to take off on that one. There goes a guy. He got clobbered. No, actually, he's still out on the shoulder. Still out there. Tiny little guy. They're not quite as big as it was yesterday, but still decent size, clean, fun waves. So I'll turn that off because it's just making me wish I was out there. All right, looks like we got more questions here. John has a question about using an email delivery service. We have a list of about 15,000, and we plan on using an external service with an opt-in form. Should we do a double opt-in to avoid recipients reporting spam? Good question, John. What I generally recommend, if you're going to try and run most of your business out of Infusionsoft, what I generally recommend in those situations is use that other service to send that initial email to that list, and then that email should drive to some kind of landing page or squeeze page where you have an Infusionsoft squeeze or an Infusionsoft web form. You squeeze them in there. Now they've opted into Infusionsoft. Obviously, you want to make sure it's clear what they're opting into, set expectations, etc. But get them opted into Infusionsoft, and then you just put them into your regular processes with Infusionsoft, and you'd be just fine. I wouldn't stress over a double opt-in. Now, if you want to do double opt-in because that's part of your processes or whatever, that's fine. But I wouldn't stress over it as long as you're being very clear and open and upfront on that squeeze page about what they're opting into, and you've set expectations well. Sometimes you use double opt-in just to filter bad leads out. I was working with a client yesterday who gets a lot of traffic, and they actually get a lot of spam traffic. And so, spam bots filling out their forms. They're not real people. It's just spam bots. And so to get to filter those people out, he always does double opt-in after his forms. And they get a lot of traffic. They're getting thousands of people a month. And so in those kinds of situations, you might use double opt-in just as a mechanism to filter out uninterested people and spam bots and things like that. But otherwise, I generally just don't use it much. Now with the new Canadian law, you have to be a little more careful about that, and I tend to, filter out people who live in Canada and send them the double and just use another service, drive to a squeeze page where you have an Infusionsoft form, capture them into Infusionsoft with good permission, and just move forward. Okay? All right. Barbara says, I need to spend more time on your website to keep learning what questions I should be asking. Yeah, and we're producing more and more content. We've got a handful of things we'll be publishing this week. Put out a pro tip. Was it yesterday or the day before? On how to do a few things, and we've got another couple of pro tips. One from me and one from Paul Sokol. Coming out later this week, and a couple of articles and things as well. So yeah, always check in, and we don't always push out all that stuff to you by email. We don't want to hammer you guys with emails, and so just if you hop into the membership site once a week or so and just kind of check out what the latest is, that would be helpful. We're going to be moving the membership site actually to a new host. We're having a few slowness issues occasionally. A lot of people logging in at the same time and using the tools and things like that. So we're going to get it onto a faster host, a faster server. But we're also going to switch it over to a different domain. So we're going to switch it over to doubleyoursalesclub.com. So it'll be separate from the Box Out Marketing website. So all the content will be locked down in there, all the videos and everything. It'll be similar to what you see now. We're going to update the interface a little bit so it's easier to navigate. But that'll be moving here in the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that as well. If you don't catch a notice about that or whatever, don't worry, because if you go to boxoutmarketing.com and hit login, it'll take you over there, and you can still log in just fine. So that's an update on what's going on there as well. But yeah, Barbara, definitely check into the website every once in a while and consume the content there. That's one of your benefits as a Double Your Sales Club member. You can use it and consume it, or you can ignore it like some people do, and unfortunately that those people just don't get the value out of the membership that they could. But really what I'm most excited right now is about this Double Your Sales Breakthrough course that we're going to be launching next week. I hope you guys all enroll in that course and you follow through with it, because it is it's a power pack course that really walks you through some powerful steps, yet simple steps to supercharge your marketing, get an offer out there that brings in revenue. This is one of the first things I do with private clients, by the way. When I bring on a private client, I walk them through this exact same process. Reason being is, if I can make them money fast, then they're more likely to hire me for the long run, right? And they're more likely to trust my suggestions going forward. They're more likely to follow through on the things that I encourage them to do if I can show them quick results, solid results built on a solid foundation. It's not get rich quick stuff. It's we take 6 weeks to build this foundation, and then we launch the offer. And it's a proven model. It works all the time with my private clients, and we're going to roll it out in this group coaching situation. And so, like I said, I hope you all enroll and follow through with that program, because it really does produce great results. All right. Well, look, I don't see any other questions, so I think we'll go ahead and just wrap up this for a minute because I know there's a bit of a delay. But if you're done, go ahead and log off. Say goodbye in the chat room or something like that, and that way I know you're gone. But if you do have one last question, go ahead and plop it in now. We'll give it just a couple of minutes here. I wish we could kind of open it up and have all you guys live in some way. The interaction would be faster instead of waiting for the delay and everything. That would be cool, in my opinion, to have that closer interaction. Doesn't quite work that way. You'd have to invite everyone individually to the Hangout, and then the Hangout can only handle, I think, 10 people anyway, so it wouldn't quite work. But it'd be kind of fun. Maybe we should do that on one of these here soon. Just try it and see what happens, and people could hop on live for a minute, ask their question, then bail off and let someone else hop on. Yeah, John's asking about the this group coaching course coming up, and if they get access to it. Yeah, all of our current Double Your Sales Club members will get access to it as part of your membership. That's one of the benefits of being a member. So absolutely, you guys all get it. Everyone who's on this call, we only let Double Your Sales Club members on these calls. So you all get access to that group coaching. I am going to ask you to enroll, though. I want to know who's actively participating in this particular group coaching program. I want to track your results. I want to help make sure you get results and things like that. So, yeah, absolutely, you guys will have access to it. Barbara says, have a great Labor Day weekend. You too, Barbara. Glad to have you on here, and thanks for joining us. Go have fun this weekend. All right, well, I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to you guys soon.